Hey everyone, and welcome back to BMX News. This is a weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. That being said, I'm starting this week with a big fat I told you so because Broc Raiford was literally just announced to be on the Sunday team with a welcome to Sunday video. And like I said last week, it just makes sense to have him under the full factory umbrella. So now his entire bike is going to be Sunday and Odyssey parts. And I would imagine that there's going to be a bike check very soon for all the people who might be curious as to what he's riding now between the two different companies, because they do have some overlap in parts like bars, forks, stems, tires, things like that. So I'm sure we're going to have one of those soon. From the looks of the video, it seems that he's riding a Soundwave V3 frame in black. And speaking of the video, if you guys enjoy Broc's riding, you're gonna like this one. Really high hops, crazy grind stuff, few different bar spin variations here and there. And one of my favorite clips in this one is where he does a double peg grind to a hard 180 out to fakey double peg grind to something out. But the last clip is totally insane as well. He does a 180 fakey double peg grind to over 360 to fakey out of that grind. To demonstrate, it might not show up because it's green just like the green stream, but whatever, we're gonna try it anyway. He's riding, he 180s, he's fakey grinding. Then he does a full 360 over the rail to fakey and then pops his 180 out. Totally insane, and you're gonna have to check out the video to see it. But for now, let's move on because we have a lot of sponsorship things to talk about. The next thing that I have to talk about is that Harry Main announced that he was off of Mafia bikes. I don't know if anyone cares about this, but let me know if you do in the comments down below, because I'm genuinely curious. He hasn't really had a presence in BMX for quite a while now, so you can kind of see this coming whenever you're not producing or doing anything for your sponsor in regards to the actual sport that it's for. They're not going to keep you on the team. He's been into mountain bike stuff lately, at least from what I've read in comments, so I have no idea. Maybe he's going to come back to BMX. Maybe another company will pick him up purely for the fact of who he is and the presence that he has on social media and YouTube. Who knows? We'll probably find out soon. Just let me know if you guys actually care about that in the comments down below. After that, we had that Chris Doyle announced his retirement from professional BMX. This was kind of a huge, big thing that got super misunderstood, and he actually retired over a year ago now, but he posted this clip from the movie Hot Rod on Instagram, and I'll just let him explain everything because I did a live stream with him last night to clear up any confusion, ask a few questions about the whole thing. It was really good. It's about 40 minutes long, so that will be linked in the description down below if you want any more information about Doyle and his retirement from BMX. Check out that link in the description. And then we had sponsor news with a lady shredder, Perris Benegas. She was announced to be on Demolition's team. They posted a quick video with some riding from her announcing that she was on the team, which is pretty cool. I like hearing more and more stuff from lady shredders. In the past couple weeks, we actually forgot to mention that Chaz from over in the UK was announced to be on Hyper, which I think is pretty cool as well. They picked up her and Hannah Roberts, but I did talk about that one. Either way, having all these different lady shredders pop up in the news representing these companies is awesome. And I think that most big companies now have some sort of representation from the ladies side of BMX, and that's exactly the way that it should be. And before I talk about this next piece of sponsorship news, I just want to say how cool I think it is that in a world of BMX where everything is constantly changing, there's trends going in and out constantly, and there's companies who are following those trends and the riders who are also following those trends. There are also companies who stick true to exactly what they've always been from day one, and they're never going to change, and they are who they are, and that's how they contribute to BMX, and that's how they are a part of BMX, and that there's a place for that, and it's super awesome. And if you haven't figured it out by now, the company that I'm talking about is Animal. They've been who they are from day one, and they haven't changed for anyone or any trends or anything like that. And it's just super awesome when a video comes out like this. It's an Animal video welcoming Santiago, Laverde to Animal and Tienda BMX. I think that might be a bike shop or something like that, but this video sticks true to the Animal vibe. It's got the Animal hip hop style music in there. The riding is all street riding. It's not quite as like East Coast street as a lot of the other Animal stuff that comes out, but this guy's not from the East Coast of the US, and he's not filming in the East Coast of the US, so obviously it's not going to be. And I just found out that Tienda BMX is actually a distribution company. This video is just an all around good good street video. The riding's good, the filming's good, the editing's good. It all goes together to the song and it all fits, and it fits perfectly within Animal. So I was glad to see it. And like I said before, it's just good to see companies like this sticking to their roots forever. It might not be the best business decision when it comes to making tons and tons of money, but I don't think that's what Animal has ever set out to do. And in all reality, I think that sticking true to their roots and staying who they are, no matter how BMX changes or anything like that, is what makes Animal Animal and what attracts people to the company. I think it's important to have companies like that within BMX, because without them, it would just be nothing but companies who are chasing the trends and chasing that next dollar and not necessarily catering to the people who want this specific thing and want to be down with a company who hasn't changed from day one. Anyways though, let's actually talk about this video, because I completely skipped over the riding and things like that. There's a lot of really great riding in here. This dude is super dialed. He does like a wall ride to down whip that stood out to me. The last clip is probably one of the longest crank arm grinds down one of the biggest rails that I've ever seen. There's also quite a bit of burly stuff in here too, with a few big nollie bars. So if you guys are into the Animal vibe and any of that sounds interesting to you, there's a link to that in the description below, and I haven't said it yet, but there's links to everything that I'm talking about today in the description below in the order that it's talked about. And moving on, the last sponsorship thing that I have to talk about this week is that Chris Childs is now off of Sunday. So Broc was added and Chris was unfortunately removed, but I did see something interesting in a few of his recent Instagram posts. He had a story up that looked like his bike, but it had S&M bars and an S&M frame on it. I have no idea if that means anything, but when I looked at one of his recent riding posts, it did look like that was the bike that he was riding. I don't know if that actually means anything. I don't even know if that was actually his bike. He works at a bike shop, so he could have just been posting a bike that he was working on. All I know is that it kind of looked like the bike that was in the post of him riding. Not going to speculate anything like that. Don't know if he's on the team. Don't know if he's just getting hooked up. Literally, like I just said, don't even know if that's his bike. I'm just saying what I saw and that it's interesting. And finally, we've got all of that sponsorship news out of the way. We can talk about the videos from this week. The first one that I want to talk about is Kert Petersel's Too Fast for Food section from Bone Deth. This one is completely full of roof drops, giant gaps, wall rides to flat, a humongous 360, and just every single clip in this video is something that's burly. So if you want burly and you don't mind a whole bunch of gross B-roll of food, check this one out. This is probably my favorite section that's come out so far from this one, and that 360, man, that was huge. Next, I want to talk about a video that if you're watching this right now and you're on YouTube regularly, you probably have already seen or at least heard about this one. It's Scotty Cranmer's Road to Recovery video. It's basically a documentary just talking about Scotty, and it includes him as well as Jamie Beswick and Big Boy in there talking about Scotty. And honestly, this is the one video this week that I think everyone should watch. I probably should have talked about it sooner, but there was so much other big stuff to talk about. This one, it's kind of just like I said, a documentary about Scotty, and it's way more than just his accident and recovering from it. Talks about his life before the accident, and just it's a huge summary of everything, and Road to Recovery did an amazing job with the people that they had make this video and all of the stuff that they included in it. There's just so much more in this video than I can say, so you just need to watch it. It's inspirational for literally anyone to see where he was, what happened, where he's at now, and his mindset throughout it. And I'm not saying anything that you probably haven't thought or read somewhere else. So I'm going to move on to talking about the other two videos that I wanted to mention this week. The first one is from Demarcus Paul, and it's called Night Hops. This is a video that is literally only made up of bunny hop clips. There's no tricks in it aside from the bunny hop, and every single clip is just some sort of bunny hop. So if that sounds interesting or refreshing to you like it is, then you're going to want to check that one out. And then I just wanted to really quickly mention, for anyone who might not have seen it, which I don't know how unless you're under a rock or something, Danny Macaskill came out with another one of his videos. It's called Gymnasium, and honestly, I think that this is the best one he has ever done. Just because it was so simplistic in the way that they did it. They just took stuff that would be in a gym, and then he wrote it the way that he does. He rides a wheelie on a treadmill. It's super awesome, and I think my favorite clip of the entire video, aside from that last insane bike flip thing that he uses a springboard for, is the one where he's doing a nose manual, but he's not moving. It's a treadmill that's moving under him, but he's in a nose manual. It's one of the coolest things ever, and I probably talked way more than I should have about this one. It's just, if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. From there, we actually have a bike check to talk about this week. It's been quite a while since I've had bike checks to talk about, but it's 2020 now. We're going to get all of the spring bike checks in from all of these people. So the first one that I have to talk about of 2020 is Jacman Hinss 2020 bike check from We The People. If you guys want to check that out, you know where to do it. From there, we've got a couple different interview things to talk about. The first one is the Head Angle podcast with Eddie Fiola. I know there's a few of you whose ears perked up whenever I said that. That's right, Eddie Fiola was on a podcast. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, so I don't know how much BMX stuff that they talked about, but I would imagine quite a bit, and I know that there's a few of you who are excited about that one. Then we've got another one from another legendary guy in BMX. We've got the BMX In Our Blood with Ed Pollio. If you don't know who that is, it means you're too young or you don't live in the New York area. Ed Pollio is the guy who owns and started 50/50 Skate Park in Staten Island, New York. It's New York's only indoor skate park, and he's kept this thing going for a long time now. I actually haven't had a chance to listen to this one yet either, but I'm going to, and I'm sure that it's good. It's the BMX In Our Blood. Joe always does a fantastic job with these, and I've got to say, I'm excited to see Joe tomorrow. I'm excited to see Doyle tomorrow. I'm excited to see all of the people tomorrow who are coming out for the Ray's Old Fools Jam. If you don't know what that means, search it on Facebook. There's an event, and if you're over 30 and you don't know what that is, you need to get it together, because the Old Fools are a group of guys who call themselves Old Fools because they are over 30 and they still ride bikes, and that is going on tomorrow at Ray's. It's actually going on tonight and Sunday too, but tomorrow is the main event. There's also a chili cook-off, so make some chili, bring it out, get it there before noon, and hang out with everyone and ride bikes. I'm going to be there all day filming, so if you see me, come say hi, and we'll have a great time and hang out with the hundreds of people that are going to be there. And with that being said, I want to ask you guys, do you care that Harry Main is off Mafia? What do you think about Broc Raiford being on Sunday, or anything else that I've talked about in this week's BMX news video? I want to thank you guys for being here and watching. Hopefully I will actually see some of you tomorrow, but hopefully I will see all of you tomorrow in the video that comes out. Thank you again for watching, and goodbye.